Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and stories shaping our world. I'm your host, Walter. Today, we're going to explore a developing crisis that could have far-reaching consequences for global food security. The blockage of the Strait of Hormuz has sparked concerns about a potential food price crisis, with the UN Food and Agriculture Organization warning that it could trigger a severe global food price crisis in the coming months. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical waterway, accounting for a fifth of global oil shipping and a third of the world's fertilizer supply. The blockage has already led to shortages and disruptions in the supply chain, with farmers facing challenges in accessing essential fertilizers and seeds. The FAO's chief economist, Maximo Torero, has cautioned that the situation is not just a temporary disruption, but rather the beginning of a systemic agri-food shock. As the global food price index continues to rise, there are fears that a full-blown food crisis could emerge within 6 to 12 months. The UN agency is urging countries to avoid export restrictions on energy and fertilizers and to exempt food aid from trade curbs. They're also calling for increased attention on alternative land and sea routes to mitigate the impact of the blockage. We'll be taking a closer look at this story, examining the potential consequences and what it means for global food security. We'll hear from experts and analysts and explore possible solutions to address this growing crisis. The situation is complex, with many factors at play, and we'll strive to provide a balanced and nuanced perspective. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into a critical story that's been unfolding globally, and it's essential to understand the complexities at play. The current Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has raised significant concerns about global health security and the ability of international organizations to respond effectively. At the heart of this issue is the reduction in funding for crucial agencies like USAID and the CDC, which have historically played pivotal roles in infectious disease prevention and containment. The dismantling of USAID by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has had far-reaching consequences, including the slashing of life-saving work on Ebola and other infectious diseases. Experts in the field, such as Dr. Joya Mukherjee from Harvard Medical School, believe that with uninterrupted funding, the outbreak could have been identified sooner, potentially saving lives. The current situation highlights the importance of consistent support for global health initiatives and the need for coordinated international responses to health crises. It's also worth noting that the withdrawal of the United States from the World Health Organization has contributed to significant funding shortfalls and staff reductions, further complicating the response to outbreaks like Ebola. The CDC, despite its efforts on the ground, faces challenges due to diminished capacity and the loss of leadership, making it harder to sustain a prolonged response. As we navigate this complex landscape, it's crucial to consider the broader implications of funding decisions on global health security. The ability to respond rapidly and effectively to outbreaks is not something that can be built overnight. It requires ongoing investment and collaboration among nations and health organizations. Welcome back to the Concrete Block. As we wrap up today's show, let's take a look at some of the latest developments in international news. We've got two major stories for you, both involving Russia and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Firstly, the British government has announced that it will be relaxing sanctions on Russian energy imports. This move will allow the UK to buy jet fuel and diesel refined from Russian crude oil in third-party countries, such as India and Turkey. The decision comes amid soaring energy costs, which have been exacerbated by the war in the Middle East. The UK government has defended the move, stating that it's necessary to protect British citizens from the economic fallout of the conflict. On the other hand, Russia's actions in Ukraine continue to be a major point of contention. The Russian government has accused Ukraine of launching drone attacks on Russian territory and has threatened to take retaliatory action. Meanwhile, the US has extended a sanctions waiver that allows countries to purchase Russian seaborne oil, despite initial efforts to restrict Russia's energy exports. It's also worth noting that tensions between Russia and Western nations remain high, with both sides engaging in a war of words over issues such as sanctions, energy exports, and military actions. The situation remains complex and fluid, with no clear resolution in sight. As we consider these developments, it's essential to approach the topic with nuance and balance. While the relaxation of sanctions may provide some economic relief, it's crucial to remember the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Ukraine and the need for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay informed.